30 seconds? Okay. We're okay, we're back. Next topic on the agenda. Urban ducks.
Yes. Before you is ordinance to add, basically it's just adding ducks to the legislation we already have allowing urban chickens. It wouldn't increase the amount of fowl you could have on your property. The limit would still be 6. So you would have a combination of chickens or ducks. You can't have male ducks because they get a little noisy, or can, and they sometimes beat up the chickens. So no male ducks. Other than that, it is mirror image language to the chickens, which we haven't had any issues, I don't think. I haven't heard anything. My neighbors have chickens, I get their eggs, it's great.
Did anybody check and see all the other places that have this? Because that was what allowed me to vote for the other ones the other times that other municipalities
Yes.
have them.
Other municipalities
They
do
have
have
ducks.
this, yes. Goats are next.
It just seems odd to talk about pay raises and urban ducks come up later.
Well, I did see something about goats as that they're using them for, no, seriously, they're using them for helping trim grass and stuff.
Grass.
They-
That's on the other side of the property line.
And eat the
on
weed
other
in between
side
the
of the
cracks.
sidewalk.
We could just drop a goat off like every couple of
And
months.
fertilize.
Yeah. Eat the grass between
We'll call
the
that one the
cracks.
Jamie Heater Act.
Please call for consensus on this.
Weed killer.
All right, does anybody have any questions about this?
No.
About the urban ducks? Okay, you threw me when you said that the male ducks attack the chickens. I didn't know that. Do we have consensus to move forward? Okay, thank you. Moving right on, Daily Times parking. Bill, that's your baby. I'm sorry.
We just need to bring papers with him. After ducks, when
You got a picture there.
I do.
Go right ahead.
What's before you tonight is an ordinance to change parking on East Market Street in the proximity of the current headquarters live. We currently have 11 spaces in place that are next to the river, parcel 884, I believe. And Daily Times has asked us to add 5 permit parking spots on East Market Street, 3 next to the building that are on the drawing, and 2 that are between the driveway and the exit to Market Street.
That's where the Chiefs cars used to be parked.
Correct.
And all they're asking is to be able to buy the permits for these spaces.
That's exactly correct.
I would ask my colleagues what prevents them from parking across the street in a parking garage that is less than half full every day. And they're closer to it than anybody else, except the people in the health department who can walk in to the health department building on the 3rd floor.
Their additional request was for, in addition to these 11 spots, was for 25 spots within the parking garage.
Do they still want those?
Yes, they still want those spots. So they are looking at utilizing the parking garage for 25 spots.
It would never pick a fight with people who buy ink by the barrel, but apparently I'm gonna do that right now. Liz, I'm watching. We strive to keep the parking spaces that are close to the water from being taken up, especially when you have, if you want 25 over here on the third, we can count, that's the 3rd floor, that's the 3rd deck of the parking garage in the picture. That's right across from there. You can count how many they need in that picture, including that 17. we have strove, I
Strive
have
is-
striven on multiple occasions to get people to use the parking garage. The mayor has done that. To say, you get these, I don't know, the library's here, you have one back from the library, don't you?
We pay for them,
Right.
but they would pay too.
It seemed, I don't know, it just seems counter,
What else would you use them for?
people who should be walking on the Riverwalk. People should be taking those amenities and using them. When you have a parking garage that's 62% empty, or 48% empty all during the day, why would we give on-street parking to somebody new?
My question, property 884, 883, right there by lot 20, who owns those? Is that city property?
Yes, they are owned by the city.
So is there any possible development of those properties? And then what will become of those parking spaces if they would be gone, right?
That is a question, correct.
Those aren't open spaces across the street, right?
Those 11 spaces
Yeah.
were used by the fire department
Yeah.
when the fire department was there.
That was the duty crews.
So the concern is, so when this was the fire department, I don't think there's any legislation on the books that ever made that an official parking lot. So that's the problem. And when the fire department moved out and Headquarters Live moved in, we didn't really realize that until recently. So either way, either the Daily Times can park there or somebody else can park there, but we still have to officially put it on the books by council to get that, to make it official, yeah.
Okay.
And in the two spaces that Councilman Boda just brought up, in the long term, there's no plan for development. That will be worked on this winter on the Riverwalk Landscape Master Plan. So you'll see some movement, but no structures, just park like,
And the permits are only for annual anyway, are they not?
correct. Oh, sorry.
So.
Actually monthly, sir.
Oh, they're monthly?
Yes, $35 a
Yeah, we
month
could,
per space.
that resolves your issue with the walkers if we develop down there.
It's also
I hear what you're saying and I don't
It
disagree.
just is as a larger conversation about what we want from downtown to anybody, doesn't matter who it is who comes into this building, to not send them to the parking garage, for people to get used to that that is the place where you park when you work down here. Even if, because once we give it to them, even if we could take it away after 1 month, 1 month goes and somebody says, look, I want 883 and 884, we're gonna do this, these parking spaces, and we think that's a great thing, and the mayor comes back to us and says, these parking spaces are gonna be no more, then we've already given it to them, now we're in the business of taking something away. These right here, are enough to satisfy all of the stuff that's right there. I don't know, it would seem to me that we would be better off as we do the Main Street Master Plan and the 3 phases of redevelopment, that everybody should go to the parking garage.
The only thing I would change to that
Okay.
would be disabled parking next to the building.
Next to the building. But wouldn't they have that there in the front part? I mean,
They're,
there's 8 spaces there.
they're doing something, at least I think they're doing something in there, aren't they?
I don't know.
I don't, Julia, do you know?
And there's no
What was the
precedent
question? I'm sorry.
anymore or anything like that. This part.
The part where we had the tents for the
And the food trucks.
food trucks,
Yeah,
are they doing anything in there?
I
It
can't
didn't
speak to
come
that.
before the planning commission, I'll tell you that, but
I can't speak to that.
is that gonna be parking as well?
I don't know.
Can we find out?
Andy, do you know, the pavement at, the Daily Times, are they parking there? Is that gonna be their parking?
Inside the fence?
The courtyard area, they're
Yeah.
talking about using a food truck and having it be a
More of an active space.
an active community
Not like a
business
parking lot.
lunchtime-y
It's not gonna be a parking
No,
lot.
it's not gonna be a parking.
That would be an opportunity.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with the 5 spots and
Well-
a couple of them being handicapped.
I think we still have the issue of there are spots there along 883
Well,
and
that's,
884.
we could do that, we could do that
Right.
separate
We
legislation.
should still.
Right, that we should do, to make it legal.
So
Yeah.
where are the people who are supposed to park, who are coming to the Daily Times to buy an ad, to, I don't know what else the other Daily Times coming out, do an obituary,
You're gonna park in the parking garage.
they're gonna park in the parking garage in the back.
Unless, are they designating some of those spots as visitor spaces? Is that what their intention was to do?
The 16 spots?
Yeah.
No, they were all to be permit. And once we designate a permit, it is for a specific vehicle. That way it prevents people from exchanging the permit. Yes, correct.
And these are handicapped?
They were not handicapped.
Isn't this picture right here a classic example of why we shouldn't do what we're talking about up here? Down here. Because there are people, there's a place, now they're not our spaces, but they were created parking spaces that's on waterfront property. I think that picture at the bottom is the exact reason why doing it 1 block further doesn't move us any further or move the ball.
April, here,
I'm fine.
comments?
It's cold.
It is cold, let's turn that off. It's not that it's
I'm hard out of it.
Perfect weather. Huh?
Go ahead, turn it off.
Can I,
Yeah, it went off. Did it?
Went off.
I've lost complete control. All right,
I turned it all the way up, but it has to run its cycle once you turn it on.
yeah, it'll be off next Tuesday.
that's when these lights will go
I
off.
didn't turn it all the way around either.
My bad.
So I guess one question I have is about accessibility parking.
That's what it is, we just talked.
So
No, thank you.
what's the game plan on that? From them.
In association with handicap parking,
Whew.
they were not looking to utilize those 16 spots for handicap parking.
So the handicapped people would have to go to the
Garage.
library parking lot,
Lot 1?
and lot 1, and go there, or go into the garage.
Garage.
And
Which
then,
are probably shorter distances to the front door of the Daily Times building than around the back would be anyway. Yeah, there's a pretty high elevation. to
Yes, it
that-
is, because it's steep.
Up that hill that
You're
would
right.
be good for ADA parking.
Billy, did they say anything about the back of the building, that whole section there where?
They built something back there.
yeah, they built a structure,
Oh, yeah.
Just built a pole building there.
whole building.
Distribution pole building.
If I may add a comment,
Go right ahead.
one disadvantage we do have at the parking garage is our last attendant is there at 7 o'clock. So we can't collect revenue after 7 PM. So if in fact, sometimes a permit can give us, if they are to do permitting in the garage as opposed to a daily fee, it would benefit us in that sense.
What's your pleasure?
I think it's helpful to just, there's nothing in here that reflects the Daily Times. We're not promising them anything by making these spots permittable.
That was where I was heading. What I was heading was saying, let's get it on the books the way it should be. And then I'd like to hear a case from them as to what they're doing, why they don't have disabled parking reasonably close. And is everybody okay with that? Going through with the legislation to get it on the
Yeah.
books? Mr. Ireton, you okay with that, or no?
Yes, I'm just worried that if we allow them to come make their case, then there's going to be 50 other groups lined up outside the mayor's office going, well, what about, why can't I get mine that close? So I'm all right with permitting, because I'm all right with the striping and the creating of of the spaces, because that's gotta come anyway.
Right, right.
But other than that, I mean, I can't.
So you're
Should be-
opposed, you're opposed,
You should be across the street.
all right? I agree with you.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
I agree with him.
you agree with him, so there's three of us that agree, four of us. Okay,
Thank you very much.
yeah, so let's,
Wait, so what does
we're
that
go- we're gonna go with
Strike it,
the,
make it terminable, that we're not giving,
Whoever wants it. will
right,
get it.
applies,
Free for all.
Okay,
okay?
great.
free market.
Wait a minute,
Hardy,
This is a
Hardy
wild
didn't
thing.
hear me in the Dominican Republic.
okay. All right. Last item on the agenda is letter of support for the new bookmobile.
Absolutely.
All
Andrea,
right.
come on up.
Thanks, Billy.
Thanks, Bill, appreciate it.
You get the calm, Bill. Billy Sterling said on the front page of the paper.
It is?
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I need another.
Okay,
Oh, absolutely.
what do you need?
Well, I am here with the, can I say support of Councilman Ireton to ask for your letter of support to begin the process of getting a new bookmobile. We would like to add to the one we have. And I've given you some information in the packet I gave you. The outside is our newsletter, but the one inside that's yellow shows you what's going on with the county bookmobile presently. It works on a 3-week schedule. There's a different stop every day for each of the 3 weeks. Over 5 days, so that's 15 different days that the bookmobile travels on its schedule. And we have a wait list for stops. We are the last bookmobile on Maryland's Eastern Shore. There are several bookmobiles across the bridge. Frederick, Baltimore County, Baltimore City, and Montgomery County all have bookmobiles. They are a very viable and active part of our service. In fact, I went and pulled some numbers just from last year. I didn't have a chance to make these attractive, so you'll just have to listen to them as opposed to me giving them to you. But I think possibly Jim shared them with you a
Are
little
these the
earlier.
number of stops and then the number of items loaned? Is that all that information?
That's part of it, yes. Let's see. In 2017, fiscal 2017, the bookmobile made 485 stops and 183 days on the road. Now, that was down from the previous year, but we had the bookmobile offer some major repair last year, including replacing a generator. The current bookmobile is about 12 years old, which is pretty old for bookmobile. On top of that, the bookmobile accounted for over 12% of all the items we loaned last year. And you think about that for a minute. The bookmobile is about 500 square feet. It's basically roughly the size of a charter bus, okay? That 500 square feet compared to the 50,000 square feet of our downtown library. And 12% of everything we loaned came out of that bus. So it's a very busy, it's a very active, and it is a very vital service, especially for the individuals you see on those schedules that meet. So what we would like to propose is, with your support and with the support of Delegate Anderton, petitioning the state for funding in order for the city to buy a copy of the bookmobile that we have now, a version of it. That city bookmobile would then be targeted to stop at many of the stops that you see, which fall within, well within the city limits, and allow us to take the county bookmobile back out into the county further and reach some of the outskirts and the outlying areas where that library service just really is almost out of reach for some of these people. And we don't have the funding right now to expand our branches like we want to. There are schools we want to get to, there are preschools we want to get to, and the bookmobile is, along with our brand-new service reader, our reader van, which goes to preschools, solely goes to preschools, is our outreach to help address the kindergarten readiness problem that we have in this community, where that children are not exposed to words and stories, and they do not have the interaction that they need. And by bringing the bookmobile out to them, we would allow them to have that positive reinforcement that we want kids to have with stories and with words and with books and reading. So, Jim, I don't know if there's anything you want to throw in here as well.
I would just, if I know my colleagues will have no problem signing on to a letter that the mayor writes on behalf of all of ours, but I think I'm just a little nervous on saying city bookmobile and county bookmobile, because on my tax bill, there's a county tax. So I am the county.
Yes.
I am all of us. But I think that being able to put in all the stops that had been taken off, how many miles are on it?
The bookmobile now, to be honest with you, I was going to look today and I didn't, but for 12 years, you figure there's got to be 300,000 or 400,000 miles on that vehicle.
Right. And we, as I attend the library board of trustees meetings on our behalf, it is wonderful to hear that the people who worked on it this month said, thank
Yes.
you, you don't have to pay.
That was a nice move. It was Parks,
Yeah.
I can never remember the middle initial.
JG.
J.G. Parks, thank you, who works on the bookmobile very often for us because they're one of the few commercial service providers. And this is the second time in 2 years that they've done a major fix for us, sent us back the bill and said, consider this paid in full.
And I think Delegate Anderton and the rest of the delegation will know that you put these things have got to go into the bucket. They've got to start the process. It may not be this year, but if we continue to ask and make sure that it's on the radar of everybody at the levels, I mean, the bookmobile is going to, besides everything that the library is doing, that the Friends of the Library do to make literacy accessible. I know I stand in the bookmobile every time it is Willard School. I stand right there, with students and with them, and it's an incredible thing. And if we can have one that is used in the outer ring and in the inner ring, which may be a better way to describe our mutual living here in the county, then I think we should do it. So I just thought I would bring it to you all, ask Andrea to come, and then we could ask the mayor to write a letter on behalf of all of us.
The other piece of this puzzle will be that in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll be rolling out a brand new program called our virtual student cards. Every student within the Wacomico County Public School System will be receiving a virtual library card, which will give them all the access they need for all of our digital collections, which is a whole nother branch that's all online. E-books, e-magazines, everything. Access to all the computers inside of our branches, and the ability to borrow up to 5 print materials at any one time. And we're doing this through the school systems and with their cooperation. So that makes the bookmobile all the more important, because we will now be able to reach, with an additional bookmobile, we would be able to reach students we can't reach right now, and they would be able to borrow materials and read for fun, which is key in keeping kids literate. So this is kind of a really good time for this discussion because of the expansion of our services in this way.
Well, I will give my total support, since if I don't, my wife who works in the media center, and my daughter, who's a reading intervention teacher, will be
Will
all
not
over
speak to
me.
you.
But I think more importantly, based on the meeting we attended last week in terms of early child education, and the statistics are pretty overpowering when if they don't get it by the 3rd grade, it's too late.
It's
And
terrifying.
Jim said it before, if they're not literate to some degree by the 3rd grade, our hope of, yeah.
Well, and there's statistical proof that's how the 3rd grade reading levels, 3rd grade literacy levels are how they determine how to build prisons.
Yeah.
Of the children who cannot read, who are not functionally literate by the end of third grade, 3/4 of those children will either be in jail or on welfare when they become adults. And that's not, that's a statistic that has been proven through time. And the really scary thing is if they don't have the basic literacy skills before they hit kindergarten, they are already way behind the eight
Yeah.
ball. And they're starting with 1 foot in the ditch, so to speak. So as a public library, we've taken the charge to get to them before they get to that 3-year-old thing, 3-year-old stage. The public schools can't get there. That's not their charge, but that is our charge. And so this is what we're hoping that,
Yeah,
Consensus to move forward?
Absolutely.
You got it.
Thank you. Thank you all very much.
Thanks
I
for what you
appreciate
do,
it.
Andrea.
You're very welcome.
Anything else for the good of the order, folks? All right, hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you. That was good.